Hey friend, this is Mai with Creative Vibes, and today I want to share my top 3 tips for self-employed music therapists, financial edition. It's really a shame that we don't have more financial literacy as part of our requirements of becoming music therapy professionals, because this is a really important skill to have, whether we're therapists or not. As much as I'm sure many of us do this work because we love it and we get joy from being a supporter of other human beings, the reality is that we live in a capitalist society and we have to make money to survive. And there's nothing wrong with making enough money to survive and even thrive. I think there's a lot of shame surrounding making money and being financially successful or literate, especially in these helping professions, because society tells us that if we love something enough, you shouldn't want to do it for the money. But that's just not reality. There's nothing wrong with doing things for the money. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make more money, and there's nothing wrong with being smart about how you use your money so it helps you be able to focus on things that are important to you. So these are my top 3 tips in no particular order. Number 1 is that you are responsible for all of your taxes, so pay them quarterly. This was the biggest mistake I made when I first became a contractor. I was so used to being a W-2 employee where I would just get my paycheck every week or so, and then I would get a form that I could use to fill out my tax return, and then I would get a bunch of money back during tax season. But as a contractor, you are a 1099 employee. So you fill out a W-9 at the beginning of your contract, and then you receive a 1099 form during tax season. You are responsible for keeping track of your taxes. Your employer doesn't pay them for you. As an employee, your employer must withhold income tax, withhold and pay Social Security and Medicare taxes, and they pay unemployment tax on top of your wages. But as a contractor, you are responsible for all of that. So you need to pay your taxes every quarter. So each quarter is April 18th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 16th. And you can actually be fined for not paying them on time, even if you pay all of it later in the year. And you might even get a bill for about $3,000 from the IRS once you file your taxes and then have to figure out how to pay that, like I did. In order to make sure you're paying your taxes on time, you need to keep track of all of your expenses and payments. Some people are just able to do this with a pen and paper, and I need to use an app. When I was just contracting, I was using one app for my mileage and one app for my expenses. Now I just use QuickBooks Self-Employed, which allows me to track both at the same time. I've also heard great things about FreshBooks and Wave, and I believe that they're free, but I haven't used either of them, so I can't say from personal experience. To be completely honest, I don't hate QuickBooks, but I don't love it. I like that it's convenient. It does everything that I need, including invoicing and tracking expenses and tax payments, and it tracks my mileage. But there are little technical quirks, and the customer service just isn't the best. But yeah, so classify all of your expenses. Keep up with it. Take some time once a week or so to go through all of your expenses and payments to organize them. It will make your life so much easier come tax season, and you'll be on top of everything so you can make sure to pay your quarterly taxes on time and accurately. I usually go through all of my expenses every few days to organize just because I have a lot going on, but you don't necessarily have to do that so often. Number 2, you need to track your miles for optimal tax credit. You get a 0.585 cents per mile. That's how much you can get reimbursed by the government for driving to and from each contract. And it adds up quickly, so take advantage of it. Again, QuickBooks Self-Employed will track all of your miles along with everything else, but there are other free options for mileage like TripLogger and Hurdler, which I believe also have options to track expenses. I used to use MileIQ, but that was about 3 years ago, and I'm not sure if they're still free anymore. The thing with using your personal car for work is that you can either use the actual expenses you paid on your car, like gas and anything that you need to fix, other than the percentage that you use for personal purposes, or you can track all of your miles and organize them into business or personal. It's up to you, and some apps will calculate this for you so you can get the maximum amount of credit. But that's why I encourage you to keep track of all of your expenses again. And then last but not least, number 3, what can you classify as a business or personal expense? So it is kind of a bummer that you have to pay all of your taxes and someone doesn't pay half of it for you or calculate it for you. However, what's really great about contracting is that everything you purchase during or for work, you can write off as a business expense. Of course, you have to be smart about this. You can't just write off like a $200 cocktail night because you were lecturing anyone who would listen about music therapy. But any instruments, materials like paper, staples, pencils, computer, your iPad, apps for work like Spotify, your rent, if you do telehealth and have a space designated in your house for sessions, your health insurance premium, any car-related costs, literally anything related to helping you do the work that you do, you can write off on your taxes. So this is why I like accounting apps, because they will help you classify and understand what is acceptable and what is not. And of course, an accountant can also help you with all of this. But this is really one of the things that I feel people miss out on the most because they don't realize how much they can actually write off. So I hope this was helpful for all of y'all. This is all information that nobody ever told me, and I wish that I had somebody that made videos like this or someone to reach out to ask questions about things like this. I really encourage all of you, if you are in school, to advocate for financial literacy requirements in your education and our more financial literacy CMTEs. I've seen a few in the Music Therapist Unite Facebook page, but we deserve to have this knowledge so we can be the best therapists we can be within a system that requires transactional relationships. Yes, we do this work because we love it, and you deserve to know what you're worth and know how to utilize these financial tools to thrive. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe, and hope to see you next time.